Hello everybody, and welcome once again to 3C Woodworking. So today what you're looking at is a box that I'm making that is in the process. Here everything is custom built, custom designed. This is going to be a one-of-a-kind piece. Um, we'll look at the inside in just a moment. Here I want to show you the design, and then I'm going to kind of explain this as I go along. What I plan on doing is giving this a hidden bottom. So let's take a look. Let's take a look inside. So first of all, you've already seen the lid once before, where you saw the miters. You see how it's 45. One side it goes all the way down to where the other side it sits up. This is actually going to be the front of the box. We'll move this out of the way, and then we'll take a look at the inside. On the inside of the box, there's the piece of wood that I was telling you I was going to cut. Made two holes for some jars to sit into. And then here you have pieces of the same species of wood that's been mitered, set up on top of that piece of red cedar. This isn't glued up or anything. Right now it's just sitting in there. Hasn't really even been sanded yet. You see the edges have been mitered. Still need to clean those up yet. Okay, so this is going to have a secret compartment. And the way we're going to do it is I'm going to take, let's roll this over. Here I have a piece of 1-inch thick hard rock maple that measures 44 3/8 of an inch long, which is long enough for me to get all four sides. This is going to get mitered. Let me set the camera down. So essentially, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see it raised up like this. This is actually going to be the trim, which is going to sit along the side, like so. And it's going to get mitered. There's going to be a rabbet along this side. This is actually 1-inch thick, so I'm going to go a 1/2 inch. We're going to go a 1/2 inch deep, or a 1/2 inch wide by a 1/2 inch. So we're going to have a rabbet that's going to be a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch right here. When I originally did the drawing, I was planning on 3/4 inch stock, but instead I found some 1-inch in my inventory, so I'm going to take and create a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch rabbet here. This board is 2 inches, and I'll show you the diagram again. This board is 2 inches tall. A 1/4 inch from the bottom is going to be a 3/16 of an inch dado that's going to run all the way through. That so our drawer can slide in and out. The trim, or what's going to be made to look like trim for the outside, we're going to chamfer the edge. We're going to give it the Lichtenberg, and I might even give it some shape, especially being that the board is thick. I might actually get away with a Roman OG. And then you'll have a place in between from the bottom of the table to the bottom of the drawer. You'll have, I'm hoping to get a 1 inch gap, which is going to be a pull-out drawer, which will pull out just from one side, and the trim will be connected and fastened on all three sides. But it will appear as though it's connected on all four. That way you can grab a hold of the fourth piece from the bottom and just pull it out, and that will give you access to your hidden drawer. Looking back at the diagram, here's a drawing of the piece, but again, that was based off of a 3/4 inch piece. So instead of it being 3/16, I'm actually going to go a half inch because it's a 1 inch thick piece. And instead of going to 3/8 by a half inch, I'm going to go a half inch by a half inch. Then we're going to chamfer it for sure. But because I have so much out here, I might actually get away with doing maybe a V groove or a cove. I don't know yet. And then try and do this. There it is. All right. So this is the inside board, which is here's the out, here's the in, 3/4 of an inch. This is my 1/4 inch or bigger cedar board. This is the mitered pieces that sit inside. So it's going to sit on here like so. So when all is said and done, I'll have room for 1 inch from here to here. So I'm going to take the thin piece of stock that I have here. That's going to slide in these grooves that goes around the box. This side, one side, will get fastened, which will actually be the face of the drawer. I'm also going to do Lichtenberg on the edge of the drawer. TBD, that means to be determined. I haven't figured out what stock I'm going to use. And at this point, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to set the camera up and I'm going to open up the garage door and we're going to start doing some work. So here's that 2-inch piece of maple. I made a cut where I actually cut the board 2 and about a 1/16, and now I'm getting ready to set it to 2-inch, and we're going to make this and we're going to clean that up. So, here we go. We'll wait for the saw to stop. Alright, so we got it cleaned up. It's cleaned up on both sides. I'll sound better. There we go. That's better. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what side I want for the outside. What side do I want on the inside? I think I want this on the outside because I see a lot of figure, and this is going to wrap around the box, and so I want to use that figure because it's going to wrap. It's going to be a continuation, and there seems to be more character on this side than there is on this side. So I think I want this to be my bottom outside. So we're going to make that groove, that dado, right down here. We're going to start by, I'm going to set the fence 1/4 inch away from the blade because I want my dado 1/4 inch from the bottom. So now I have it set for 1/4 inch. And I know that I want this to be the bottom and I want this to be on the outside. So I know this is the proper orientation of my board. Next is I need to set I need to adjust the height. Now the downside to having a cheap table saw like this is that when I turn the blade on, because of the way it starts up, it tends to come on down. So we're going to start it up. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap wood. I'm going to mark it to 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to slowly raise the blade until I reach that level. Once I've done that, I'll set that piece to the side and I'll go ahead and run the piece. So I have a piece of scrap Baltic birch. We'll go ahead and use that. So using the combination square and a mechanical pencil, I'm going to set this right at 1/2 inch. So I am sorry, I have to kind of face it toward me so I can see what I'm doing. So as you can see, I hope you can see, I marked 1/2 inch. That's my height. Although it would be better if it was on that side, so I'm going to remark the board, doing it upside down and backwards. Alright, so I remarked the board. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the saw up, and I'm going to raise it, looking at it until it reaches that point. Okay, so I made the first cut a 1/4 inch from the bottom. That's the first pass. And here's the board that I'm going to use for the bottom. And it's got to be able to fit in there. And when I measured it, it measured at 3/16. So I'm going to move the blade away. I'm going to move the fence away from the blade. That way I know that I'm moving up. So I'm going to move it by 1/16 of an inch exact and repeat. Now I'm going to move it over 1/32. And that's a nice fit, but not for a sliding drawer. So we're going to move it more, because that's a little too tight. So now we're going to loosen it up a little bit. That works. That has just enough room for a drawer to slide. So now the next step is determining where do we want to start. I know I'm going to start on this side, and I like the way that character is. I think I want that on the face. So we're going to make this the first cut we're going to make is the long piece. So let me grab my earplugs. There we go. I'm going to set the saw to 45, lock it in place, carefully bring it down and line it up. And then make the cut once I plug it in. Double check it. Right there. Alright, made the first cut. Now we're going to bring you over to the box. There we go. Take off the headphones. So I want this is going to be the front, and I want that trim. I want. Oh shoot! I just realized I forgot to make the rabbit. Well, that'll be fine. We'll make it work. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this alongside the box. And try to line that sucker right up. I don't know how much you can see, but I'm trying to line that up perfectly to the edge. Alright. I'm trying to do it here. Please bear with me. Alright, so I'm going to line it up to the edge. To where it looks like it's perfect. And then mark the inside edge. Take my combination square. Can you even see what I'm doing? Alright, I'm sorry you couldn't see what I was doing. Alright, so let's slide this back. Alright. So the first thing I need to do is determine where this is at. So I'm gonna set this up. Line that up to where nice and flush with the edge. Then mark the edge. That's the inside corner for the next miter. And my next miter is going to go here. So, oops, wrong way. There we go. That's better. So my next miter is going to go right here. So I'll go ahead and I'll mark that. Alright, now we'll move you back over here. Alright. Now, before I move away from the saw, I need to angle this back. done that, I'm just going to go ahead and work my way around the box, and we'll pick up in another video. I'm not doing so well in the working and doing the video because I don't know exactly where to set the camera up and everything. So maybe I guess I'll just talk for a couple minutes. So I'm going to line this up to where they line up together perfectly. Once I think I've got it, once I think I have it lined up exactly where I want it, I'll go ahead and mark that inside corner. And I'm just going to work my way around the box.